What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline. As always, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel and drop a like on this video. I would very much appreciate it. Well, guys, I'm back with another review. I just reviewed the Commander Apo and Barc Speeder set. Now, as you can see in front of me, I do have the Heavy Weapons Clone Trooper and the Barc Speeder with the Sidecar now for review. So I'm really excited to open this up and take a look at it with you all. But first, let me open up this top flap for you so we could see that slip cover on the inside. And as you can see upon opening it, with this one, we do have images of clones here on the speeders. We have another shot of that awesome ARF Trooper on the AT-RT. As I said, I cannot wait until that one releases. And then we have a shot here of the Barc Speeder with the Sidecar with a 332nd Trooper right there in the Sidecar. So absolutely awesome. I cannot wait to get this open. But as always, guys, now let's get the plastic clamshells out of the packaging and let's see what it looks like when it arrives to you on your doorstep. Alright, as you can see, we have our Heavy Weapons Clone Trooper here in the front, all of the accessories, as well as our speeder towards the bottom. I can already tell there's a little bit more going on with this set versus the Commander Apo set. So now, as always, guys, let's take the figure, the accessories, and the speeder out of the box and take a closer look at all of the details. And really quickly, guys, I just wanted to show you everything removed from the box laid out in front of us. Of course, these are all of the accessories that attach to the vehicle, and then we do have accessories for the figure as well. But now let's take a look at each accessory individually. As always, first, guys, I'm going to start with the hands. If you saw my Commander Apo review, these hands would look very familiar. It does come with two speeder bike handle gripping hands and then two blaster holding hands. Of course, the armor on the front is different. As you can see, you have that white striping on the blue painted armor with some nice weathering throughout. I'll get a little bit closer. As you can see, they're painted very nicely. You do have two other hands pre-installed on the figure, so 3 sets total. Definitely a bummer in my opinion. I would have loved to have seen more hands included, especially because these sets are so expensive. That's definitely disappointing in my opinion. However, at least we got the bare minimum here. I guess I could say that. And next, guys, we do have our DC-15A blaster rifle. As you could see, once again, as I mentioned in the Apo video, this is painted very nicely, some really nice silver dry brushing, some weathering throughout. You do have an articulated stock here. Mine is not loose, and it was not loose in my Apo blaster either, so I'm definitely glad to see that because some of the older Hot Toys clone blasters had that issue for me. And overall, as I said in the previous review, this is really nicely done, so no complaints here. And next, we do have a DC-17 blaster pistol. Again, just like the DC-15A, this is painted very nicely, and the metal finish is very convincing. Overall, I think it looks really good. This figure does only have one holster. I know the Commander Apo had 2. This has 1 holster, so it does include only 1 DC-17 blaster pistol. Next, this is actually a unique piece to the Heavy Trooper that comes with this set. As you can see, this is a saddle bag that kind of slings over the front of the body. As you can see, there is a bandolier on this bag as well, which looks really cool. Overall, this is very nicely tailored and it feels very quality. There is kind of a hard piece of foam in here to keep it in its shape, and I really don't have any complaint there about that. I think it looks really good. I'm not sure if it opens up. No, it does not. It seems like it's fully stitched shut, but that doesn't bug me because I do think it looks pretty fantastic, and I personally would have no reason to open it up, so I definitely will be displaying this on the figure because I think this is very unique, and it definitely sets it apart from that Commander Apo set. Next, as you can see, we do have our Heavy Weapons Clone Trooper base. You can see there is a metal Star Wars nameplate here on the front. Flipping it to the top, as you can see, this is that same kind of gray floor style display base. I don't really dislike this base, but it is very plain. However, as I always say, no sand footprints is a good thing. Of course, this does include your typical crotch grabber that you just install by inserting it in here. So probably won't use this because I'm going to have my Heavy Trooper on the bike, but I just wanted to show it to you. And next, guys, we do have the base for the bike. If I remember correctly, this is the same base, if not very similar to the one that comes with the Apo set. If we get close, I did mention this in my Apo review, you can see all that white speckling. I think that looks pretty excellent. Overall, I think they did a great job on this base and the one that came with Apo. I really have zero complaints on how that looks. Flipping it over to the bottom, you do have the Hot Toys branding with a plain black plastic. And of course, this does include this grabber here to put the bike on. Now, I will shake this one. If you saw my Apo review, mine had a weird rattling sound. This one does not have that, as you could hear. But again, this base looks very nice. I definitely dig this base a lot. Well, these were just peeking in the frame of the last accessory, so I might as well show them off. I believe these are pieces to attach the sidecar to the main bike. I'm not exactly sure what each one goes to, but these were included in that set. So of course, guys, in the bike segment of the video, I will put up some footage of me installing all this stuff, so definitely keep an eye out for that throughout the video. But I just wanted to show it to you really quick so you can see everything that is included in the box. I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but again, we have some accessories that were seen in the Commander Apo video. Now keep in mind, guys, it does mention this in the instructions, but as you can see, we do have a spiral barrel on each one of these, and you do have a smooth barrel on these two. That is important. There are certain spots these get installed, so definitely make sure you either pay attention to this video as I show you how to install them, or you read your instructions as you are putting the bike together. And finally, guys, we do have two more pieces of the bike. As you can see, this one clearly attaches somewhere on the bike, and I believe here that this is a gun that attaches to the sidecar. Of course, I'm not sure yet because I haven't read the instructions, but we will find that out in the vehicle segment of the video. Speaking of that though, guys, let me now grab the Barc speeder and the sidecar, and let's roll some footage of me installing all of these parts on it. Well, guys, thank you so much for suffering through that with me. I'm going to be honest with you guys, installing this sidecar here is a total pain in the ass. If you're new to vehicles, you're going to have a really fun time with that. I tried my best to show my trials and tribulations on camera, so I hope you could see that. I know I kind of was out of frame a couple times as I was doing it, but it was very difficult. I wanted to get down in there and show you. You could see this bracket here. You have to clip this portion under the vehicle, and then there's a little keyhole in here to clip this portion in. I found this portion to be very difficult. I don't know if it's easier to attach this first onto the mount before putting it on, or attach them together and then put them both on the mount. I don't know. The way I did it was I attached this first and then attached the bracket. It was kind of a pain in the butt, but I did get it installed, as you could see. There is another configuration. I'm not going to mess around with that in this video, but you can read it in the instructions. But as you can see, guys, this vehicle is absolutely gorgeous. Just like the Apo speeder, some beautiful weathering. You have that Imperial cog there. You can see those guns that I have mounted on the front and the back. Just absolutely stunning throughout. I will get you guys kind of a front shot here in the front of the vehicle. Again, beautiful weathering there, just all the way throughout the vehicle, some really nice attention to detail. I will show you all of the moving parts on this one. Of course, these front little louvers here, these do move on both sides. Very sturdy, I might add. They do articulate very well. Moving around to the middle of the vehicle, you do have your two handlebars here that do articulate. These may be clutch bars or something, but these do move as well. And then moving down, guys, to the foot pedals here, these do move also, and they articulate very beautifully, as you can see with those attached cables. Now moving around, guys, the sidecar can swivel when you do have it in the other configuration, I believe. However, in this one, I do have it in the fixed mount. This is what I personally prefer. For this gunner here on the sidecar, you can articulate the handles, which is very nice. They are a little bit loose, so definitely keep that in mind, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. When you are wrapping the figure's hands around that, that might actually help. This does slide forward and backward, and then it does slide up and down as well. So there's definitely some decent articulation in that sidecar. Overall though, guys, again, this is absolutely gorgeous. Let me get a shot of that little control panel there in the front. And again, just no shortage of weathering. You can see it everywhere throughout the vehicle, and I'll get you a shot of that engine there in the back. Just overall an absolutely gorgeous vehicle, and it is even bigger than the Apo Barc Speeder. But now, guys, let me grab the heavy trooper himself and we'll take a closer look at the figure and see what we think. Well, here we are, guys, with the heavy weapons clone trooper. Now, I might add that this is an absolutely gorgeous figure in hand. I really do love all of these unique bits and bobs on this guy. As you could see, a really nice looking helmet there, very reminiscent of Captain Vaughn or Commander Cody with that visor. I do think overall it looks really good. I love that weathering throughout the visor and the dome and just the speckling of dirt and grime all throughout. A very unique kind of mini pauldron here. I think that looks really good. And this is actually, I believe, Velcroed on the back, so you can remove it. I don't know why you would want to, because I think it looks pretty cool. However, you can remove it. As you can see, though, as we get a little bit closer, guys, some really nice attention to detail on that weathering. That's a common theme with both of these recently released vehicle sets. Just really beautiful weathering jobs done on both of these figures. As you can see, you have some great weathering on both the shoulder armor pieces. Going down, we do have some more weathering on the belt as well. Definitely looks really nice. I have zero complaints about that. As I mentioned earlier, you do have only one DC-17 holster there. Taking a look at the forearm armor, you do see some weathering throughout those pieces as well, and it just looks very good. And to mention, while we're here, you can see these are the hands that we have pre-installed on the figure. More of like open, relaxed hands again. I wish we had more hands. I'm not going to get too much into that, but definitely a little bit disappointing. As you can see, the thigh armor is nicely weathered and nicely painted as well. I love the scratching throughout the blue hits of paint throughout this figure. Definitely looks really nice. And then as we move towards the bottom, you could see some really nice weathering detail again. And also, I might add, just like the Apo, some significant dirt and grime on the calf armor and the boots. Definitely love to see that. That definitely adds to the realism. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Because this guy is riding on a speeder. The dirt is kicking up under him, so it makes a lot of sense for this area to be the most dirty on the entire figure. And I think that looks absolutely gorgeous. Really nicely done there, Hot Toys. Now moving down to the tread, as we always like to look at, looks a little clean concerning his feet are facing the ground. Definitely would expect more dirt and grime there, but at least they didn't skip on it totally. Now moving around to the back, guys, we'll just take a look at the back of the figure. Again, just beautiful, really nicely done weathering all throughout. I think this looks absolutely awesome. As you can see, really nice attention to detail on the back as well. We do have weathering kind of all over the back here, so it's definitely nice to see they didn't skip on the part that you won't see as much. And then moving down, once again, there's no shortage of weathering on that calf armor or those boots. Overall, just a really nicely done figure. Moving on, though, to articulation. The head movement is really not limited much at all because that is a very small pauldron, so you can move it left and right, fully 360, really wherever you would want it to. And of course, forward and backward, it moves very well, no complaints there. In terms of the shoulders, I'm very curious to see this. Absolutely fantastic, guys, as you could see. I think Hot Toys has definitely come a long way in the articulation department with these clones. I'm really happy to see that they're doing better with these. Not that they were ever bad, I just think there were improvements that could be made. Absolutely love these cloth undersuits that they're using. Here, we do have ratcheted joints. As you can see, going beyond a full 90, you do have some limitations there with the elbow armor. These do have a bit more of a louder ratcheted joint than the Apo did. As I said in that video, it was more of a softer ratcheted joint. They very well may be the same body, it's just variances in the manufacturing. I don't know, however, I will say this body feels very nice thus far. In terms of the articulation here, guys, you do have that rocker ball joint. And of course, you can get full rotation as well, and of course that applies to both hands. In terms of the ab crunch, you could see very limited, again, due to the design of these clone armors. You're going to expect that with all of these figures. Really no complaints about that. That's not Hot Toys' fault in my opinion. In terms of the articulation at the waist, again, very important because you are throwing this guy in the vehicle. Really nice ratchets, and as you could see, you could really get those legs as far as you want them to be. Definitely pretty excellent, and some really nice solid ratcheted joints there. In terms of the knees, these are ratcheted as well, and they will go beyond 90. Again, definitely very important because this guy is going on a vehicle. Of course, that is the same on both sides. And then in terms of the boots, finally, you have your normal articulation due to the design. It's a bit limited, but you could still get some nice rocking back and forth and side to side with these. So definitely really nicely done. Honestly, guys, I'm very happy to see that Hot Toys didn't skimp out on the quality of these bodies, because it's very important with these, especially because they're going to be on this bike and sitting in that position over time. Of course, normal bodies without ratchets do tend to loosen up, so it's definitely smart of them to give us nice ratcheted bodies for these figures. But now, guys, what else left to do than to throw the Heavy Weapons Clone Trooper on that beautiful bike and throw another 501st clone in the sidecar, and we'll toss them in a couple poses, and we'll close out this video and I'll share my final thoughts. Really quickly though, guys, before we pose up the figure, I do want to show you, I know some people were asking about a size comparison between the Apo speeder and the Heavy Weapons speeder. As you can see, they are the same base speeder essentially. You just have that sidecar edition, which makes the Heavy Weapons speeder a decent amount wider, as you could see. So definitely keep that in mind when trying to make space in your displays. Well, at a price tag of $610 US, Hot Toys better deliver on this set. And I'm happy to say that they did. I think it has absolutely incredible shelf presence. I think it's painted very well. And overall, I'm very happy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm out.